Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, to Brett's Vlogs, and today we are going to be reacting to my predictions that I made last year for obviously the season that has just gone. So yeah, just a quick remind ourselves where everyone had finished in the actual standings. In the end, we saw that Sunderland was bottom, is relegated, followed by Middlesbrough and Hull. Then it was Watford, Burnley, Swansea, Crystal Palace, Stoke, Leicester, West Ham, West Brom, Bournemouth, Southampton, Everton, Man United, my club, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Tottenham and Chelsea. So I've just read it all out from that piece of paper. So yeah, so basically I'm going to be obviously reacting if I was right with all of my predictions. So yeah, cracking on. Now actually I said in the video that was obviously made last year, I said that Burnley were going to get relegated this year. Now actually I was wrong with that one. Obviously Burnley was a side that actually came into the Championship and actually got themselves out of the relegation zone. Obviously, oh God, I can't remember the manager, what he was called now. But he obviously did well. There was games that they obviously didn't have the best. Obviously they had again they played us. It was their cup. It was obviously their cup final against us, because obviously we drew against Burnley. But yeah, they just got out of the relegation zone, only just by about 2 places. So in the end, they actually finished 16th. So I said that they were going to go into the relegation and go back to the Championship, but that did not happen. And then I said Hull City were going to get relegated. I was actually close with that one, because I said that they were going to be 19th, and actually in the end they finished 18th. So I actually got that one right, but I was wrong with the place, obviously. But I was still happy that I was actually close of Hull being 19th, but in the end they actually finished 18th. Talking about their season, I don't think they had the best, even though they had Mike Phelan as their temporary manager, came in but then got sacked, and then brought in their new manager. Can't remember, he was a Portuguese manager, but it wasn't enough for them. But yeah, in the end, and then after that I then did say West Brom were going to get relegated. Now me and Spencer Owen did the same thing here. I don't know why, but Tony Pulis is one of those managers where isn't one of the best managers, but also has a good season. They still have good players, but in the end they did finish 10th, which I'm surprised with. I don't know why I predicted 18th, but that was way off anyway. But yeah, in the end, yeah, I'm just going to basically talking about team by team, just talking about their season really. So 17th I said Bournemouth. Now Bournemouth, they finished 9th in the end. I was way off the mark again. They had a really good season themselves with Eddie Howe, and yeah, they brought in in January they brought in the likes of Jack Wilshere. Was he actually relevant to the squad? I think he was. I think he brought a lot to the club, more experienced obviously from Arsenal. Don't know why Arsene Wenger didn't want him, but he's only just there for a loan, so I'm not sure if he's going back to Arsenal or not, and we don't know what his future's going to be. So yeah, I think their season, looking at it, finishing 9th, I think they had a really good season themselves. Very, very surprised, because I think Bournemouth finished about, I don't know where they were last year, but yeah. And then 16th I said Sunderland. Now I thought Sunderland had the players, to be fair, because yes, they did beat United, but it's not just that though, it's how they perform out on the pitch as well. Now you could see that they were going to struggle from day one with David Moyes. Now David Moyes has just resigned as Sunderland's manager. Obviously we could see that was going to come, but we all thought he was going to get sacked by the club, but he then resigned because he thought, I don't think I'm going to suit for the club, I need to go, because obviously if I make Sunderland any worse in the Championship, I'm going to be sacked. So he's gone. So Sunderland didn't have the best of seasons, finished 20th, they're in the Championship for next year. Yeah, obviously I think some of their players will want to come back to the Premier League obviously next year. Obviously there's going to be a lot of transfers that are going to be taking place from now till the next season. But yeah, then I said 15th was going to be Crystal Palace. Now actually I was very close with this one, because in the end they actually finished 14th, and I predicted they were going to be 15th, so I wasn't too far off that really. I think Crystal Palace had a good season. They obviously had Alan Pardew, he then got sacked, and then big Sam Allardyce came into the squad. He's just now resigned as well as manager, because he's another one where I don't want to put Crystal Palace in a bad position for next year, and I don't want to be making them any worse. So I think overall, I think they had an okay season, but you never know. We'll have to see what the transfer, what we have to say obviously in the transfer window that's going to be coming up very soon. But yeah, obviously then 14th I then said Stoke. Now actually I was again close with this one. I said Stoke were going to finish 14th, but in the end they finished 13th. So I'm still happy that I've actually again said that I'm very close. I think Stoke had an okay season themselves with what's he called, with I can't remember, Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes, I think he brought, I don't know, I think because they had an okay season. Obviously they have the likes of, yes, 2 meter Peter, but it's not all about that of relying on Crouch, but he is a player that should be actually leaving the Premier League very soon, because he's not been getting a lot of game time himself. He should realise that himself. But in the end, I think they had a good season themselves. Not the best of seasons, but yeah. In the end, 13th, I then predicted Watford. Now Watford actually finished 17th, so I think I overcompensated on that one. I'm not too sure. I thought Watford were going to have a strong season this year, and yes, they do have quality players themselves. I think they just didn't have the best of seasons as well, and yeah, I think their manager's actually leaving as well. So yeah, there's going to be a load of new managers coming into the Premier League obviously next season again. 12th, I then said Middlesbrough. Now, as we all know, Middlesbrough are relegated. They're in the Championship. Yes, their manager got sacked during the Premier League. Then they brought in a temporary manager, and then I think they just didn't. As again, it's just coming in from the Championship to the Premier League, and then you get relegated again. So I don't think they had the best of seasons in themselves, but they're back in the Championship. So 11th, I then said Southampton. Now they actually finished 8th themselves. So I obviously thought they weren't going to be, obviously not the best of sides, but they do have a quality manager themselves. It's not just the manager, but obviously it's also about the players as well, what their decision making is as well. So I think their season was pretty solid as well. They beat some good quality teams out there, because I think they beat City, I think they beat Liverpool, I think they beat Arsenal, I think they beat Chelsea, I'm not too sure, but they beat a few good teams up there. So yeah, after that I then predicted Swansea. I think Swansea finished 15th, so I thought they were going to have a better seat. I thought they were going to have, I don't know, obviously in the middle really. So I thought Swansea, yeah, finishing 15th. I think they still had a good season themselves. I think I don't know, but Swansea, I'm a little unsure of, really. I think they still had a good season themselves, but we never know. We've got the transfer window coming up very soon, and it'll be good to see some big players coming into the Premier League next year. So, followed by Swansea, I then predicted West Ham. Now, I think me and Spencer Owen actually did the same thing. West Ham are going to finish 9th. Now, they finished 11th. So I was pretty close with that. Again, I'm pretty happy that I wasn't too far off again. West Ham had a decent season. They beat the likes of Tottenham. West Ham, I think, they're on and off. Obviously, moving to a new stadium, it's not really synced in for them. But I think next year they're used to it, obviously. So yeah, I think they'll have a decent season next year. Followed by that, I then said Everton, but then in the end, I was pretty happy with this. They finished 7th. So yeah, Everton, they had a good season. I think they obviously got a load of the wins, what they wanted as well themselves. Everton had a good season, and after that, I then said Tottenham to finish 7th, but in the end, they actually finished 2nd. So Tottenham was the only side that can actually be on Chelsea's backside to battle it for the to finish obviously either 1st or 2nd. But I don't think it was enough for Tottenham. Obviously, Tottenham are a quality side themselves. They had a good season themselves. But yeah, in the end, I then said 6th was going to finish. Was going to be Leicester. Now, obviously, Leicester finished 12th in the end. I think Leicester, obviously, getting rid of Claudio Ranieri, I don't think everyone was saying it wasn't the best of decisions to make, obviously, to get rid of Leicester. But in the end, they had a decent season with Craig Shakespeare because he brought a lot to the squad. He changed a lot. That usually happens from when you've actually changed a manager to proceed on, and they still did the job. At least they didn't get relegated. But yeah, 5th, I then said Liverpool. I was pretty close with this one because they actually finished 4th in the end. But Liverpool had a decent season. I think they didn't really have the best of seasons. Really, their defence is not one of the best in the seasons. But I think Liverpool had a decent season. Yes, they are in the Champions League, and yeah. Followed by that, I then said 4th was going to be Chelsea. Now, in the end, Chelsea were champions. I thought they weren't going to finish 1st because I thought bringing the likes of Antonio Conte, who's obviously new to the Premier League, I thought someone else being more experienced into the Premier League would have actually won. But yeah, I think they had a decent. Well, they've obviously were champions. Congratulations to Chelsea. Yes, you are champions for this year, but we'll have a new champion for next year for sure. Followed by that, I then said 3rd was City. I was actually pretty happy with this. I got this one bang on. So yes, City actually finished 3rd in the end, which I was really happy about. So so far I've only got one correct, which was City. So yeah, obviously City didn't have the best of seasons with Pep Guardiola. Yes, they are in the Championship. Yes, they are going into the Champions League for next year. Obviously, he should be buzzing with that. But again, I think they'll not survive that long in the Champions League. But they still had a decent season. Then I predicted 2nd was going to be Arsenal. They actually finished 5th in the end. And they didn't have the best of seasons, obviously. But yeah, I think Arsenal did in the Europa League. Yes, Wenger, everyone was saying Wenger in, Wenger out. But yeah, they still had a decent season again. And then I said to be 1st was actually going to be Man United. Now I thought Man United, yes, they did have a change of manager, was Jose Mourinho. I thought United was going to bring a lot to the squad because obviously we brought in the likes of Mkhitaryan, Bailey, Zlatan. Obviously I thought we would do it this season, but we didn't. But yeah, that was my. So obviously I've reacted to it. I'm pretty happy with myself. I think some of them were a bit off. Some of them weren't always that bang on. But I was still happy that I actually predicted But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Obviously, I was wanting to do this video just because I actually did the obviously because I predicted at the beginning of at the beginning of the season of where everyone was actually going to be. But obviously, it's going to be a pretty decent season next year, and yeah, obviously I'm not going to be doing my I'm not going to be doing the next. Obviously, I'm not going to predicting for a few months because obviously I'm going to wait for the transfer window, bring in the players, and then once we know that, I will come back to you guys and I will predict for my this year's or next year's season for 2017 to 2018. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very later on this weekend's vlogs, and I'll see you guys very later on, and peace.